That lets us know that if we do something crazy, we can put you out there on ridiculousness, and Rob will give us big money at your expense. How about that? I love that show, especially the part where people do scorpions. If you haven't seen that show, you may not know what I'm talking about. Up, somebody knows. They like the scorpions too. It's my favorite part. I can't say that I haven't done one or two. If you've ever lived up north, horrible time in my life when I lived up north. You slip on ice, you're prone to doing scorpions. And But anyway, so we survived day one. Some people missed day one. If you missed day one, go back, do those day one activities because you're going to need them. Number one, to open up the rest of your course. Simple as that. Um, we're adults, it's a college. You have to do what you got to do, right? We want to benefit our careers. If you didn't, you shouldn't be in a college to increase and move forward. We are here because we want to succeed, we want to excel. That's the purpose of being here. And I want you to succeed, so I'm going to help you do that. Now, some of the things we're going to do, people are like, no, I'm not doing that. Well, okay, don't. So if you do the same things over and over, and expect different results, that's called insanity. Something I know a little bit about. I'm a little crazy, but yeah, so uh, I want you to think about it. There are reasons why we have you do these things, and some of the things may seem a little bit crazy, but there's a reason behind it. And I told you you're going to learn more about you. And that very first thing, that very first question I had, what you expect to learn or what you want to gain from this class. And I want you all to know that we're all in the same boat. Almost every answer from everybody, not knowing what the other person's going to write, they're almost all the same. They're very similar. We want to grow. We want to gain. We want to feel more comfortable about ourselves. We want to feel confident. And feeling confident is very, very important. There's a difference between feeling confident and arrogant. Okay, how many people know arrogant people? Arrogant, they walk into the room and yeah, they just reek. They have an odor about them, not necessarily a smell, but an odor. And can't stand those people. You see them, and you don't wish harm, but you don't wish well for them. Okay, so the difference between arrogance and and confidence is arrogance. They tell you what they know, but they don't. Okay, confidence. You know what you know. Okay, I want you to know everything that you know. And if you've never done it, list your skills out. And we're going to talk about skills through this class a lot. And most of the time, we underestimate our values. And I want you to start thinking about what is truly value and learn to describe it. People will say, I'm a good worker. Okay, how are you a good worker? I want you to be specific, and we need to start describing things in very specific terms. Okay. And that's a little more difficult. People will say, oh, I like that car. Okay, why do you like it? It's fast. Well, how fast? Well, it's a Lamborghini. Okay, so how fast is it? What's it 0 to 60? Is it under three? Well, yes. Well, why didn't you tell me? I like that car because it's fast. It's under 3 seconds in the 0 to 60. Now you're being specific. Now you're giving me reason. It's the same thing about you as a worker. I'm a good worker. Okay, how? Well, I complete all my tasks in a timely manner and I'm organized and I manage to do it under cost. Okay, now you have me listening. When you just tell me you're a good worker, everybody's a good worker. But tell me why. You see the difference? So we're going to learn how to describe ourselves so much better, and you're going to pull the person in. It's kind of like fishing. It's like everybody throws a worm out, but now if you throw a worm out and it's going, you fish over here, Now it's going to gather the people around. So that's what we're going to learn is how to gather people, how to pull them in. And that's way more important. So we're going to talk about those things. And we're going to talk about ourselves, and we're going to do it with a fun way. We're going to learn about our personality. How many people like ourselves? Anybody out there like yourself? Oh, come on. I hope you like yourself. If you don't even like yourself, something's wrong. It's like you go somewhere and you're like, oh God, I hope I don't come along. Come on, we like ourselves. We do. We think we're pretty. We think we're fun. We enjoy being around ourselves. That's us, okay? So we're going to find out a little bit about ourselves today. So I'm going to do some screen sharing. And again, if you have questions throughout this, you can unmute your mic, you can talk. It is a classroom, okay? So feel free to do so. And I'm going to do a share here. Not as in share the skinny lady that wears the tiny outfits and will be around longer than the cockroaches, but I'm going to do a screen share. And it has popped up over there so I can see it. Yay. So here we go. All right. And I'm going to look at it the same way you do. There we go. That way it has less to look at. Again, ignore the to-do list. Bad, evil territory over there. Stay away from that. Look under week 1. Again, I can't shake this cough. I don't know why it's attacked me, but so please forgive me throughout the presentation when I do cough. I try to keep it at a minimum. All right, so yesterday you should have did this discussion. Some of you did, some of you didn't. Your online presence. Everybody should have an online presence. Some people don't want to be online whatsoever. Even if you don't want to be online, I guarantee you there are parts of you online out there. But on the side where you don't want to be online, that can be bad too. Because what happens is your employers that are out there hiring, they search for you as soon as you come up and they're considering hiring you. And they go, oh, you're behind the times. You're not relevant. If I hire you, you don't keep up with things. You should be following the latest trends in your career. If you're not online, there's a good chance you don't know who is tops in your field. How many people know who is tops in your field? Who is the biggest companies in your field? Who is the biggest professional in your field? How many people know this? Anybody know who these people are? If not, you need to be Googling these. You need to know when you go into an interview because you might be asked, who are the leaders in our industry? And you don't know. You're going into an industry, you need to know who these top companies and professionals are. And we don't think about that. So you need to know these things. And when you're on online and you have an online presence and they can see that you are connected to these people and these companies, that impresses them. Okay? It's schmoozing. Makes them happy that you know what's going on in your career field. So take time to do that. One of the best places to do that is on LinkedIn. Create a profile there, and there's different places where you can look up companies and things and connect with them. And the brilliant thing about LinkedIn is because it's a professional social network, is you can actually question these big corporations or these big companies or these professionals in that field, ask them things and they'll respond to you. You're not considered a low person. They'll actually respond back. So consider that. So answer that question, get that out of the way because by Sunday, this assignment will lock. So get that done. Today, one of the things that's recommended you get done today, this personality test. Now, this is a fun thing, and people wonder why we do a personality test. I can tell you the automobile industry that hires a lot of welders, electricians, things like that, even people in the medical field, because companies like Toyota, Ford, Chevy, all of them, they have medical people on site. So in case somebody gets sick, etc., they have you do a personality test. And the reason being is they want to know who can work with each other, and they break you up into teams. Even electricians that get put into vans that go out into different people's homes, HVAC technicians, things like that, they want to know who's going to work together. So they give you a personality test. These are called Myers-Briggs personality tests. And you click on this, and what it's going to do is you're going to click on this purple oval that says take the test. You don't have to do this login. You just come here and you're going to answer these questions. You regularly make new friends, either agree or disagree, or to what point. The center point means you neither agree nor disagree. So if you agree a little bit, then you say complex and novel ideas excite you more than simple or straightforward one. Yeah, I agree. And you keep going through until you answer all of them. And then you go to the next one and you keep going. At the end, it's going to give you a rating. Okay. You will come back to the assignment and you're going to say what it was that you were scored as, what type. And don't forget part two. Did you see this as accurate? Now, most people are surprised at how accurate this is. Now, sometimes it's not, but surprisingly, it comes back usually pretty accurate. And why is it accurate? You can expand and say, this is why I found it accurate. Okay. Now, the more feedback you provide or you think, the better off you are. Think about why it's telling you what it's telling you. Actually read the result. Okay. There's a reason why it's telling you this. And the complete explanation can be really insightful. Don't just read the top line and assume what the information is that follows. Okay. Now, I told you we're going to have an assignment that's going to come in three parts. This is the first part, career plan step one. And it says it's part one of the other parts. Take a little bit of time with this, okay? So you're going to do a career plan. And the first part is to think about your long-term goals. So these are goals that are going to be pushed far out, okay? And I want you to truly think about them and say, I don't plan ahead. That's not optional, okay? Some people don't think that they plan. Well, not planning is planning, okay? You cannot reach or achieve if you do not make any sort of plan. You're in school. You're eventually going to graduate. That is a plan. But some people want a house. Some people want to travel. They don't want a house. They don't want that lockdown stability. But what do you want to do? So right here, you will list two long-term goals minimum. Okay. This isn't for the next year, maybe, because later on, you're going to put short-term goals that are going to tell you how to reach these long-term goals. So I want you to think about that. You're going to tell how you're going to reach that later on. So plan a little bit. What is it you really want to achieve? We all have dreams. How bad are those dreams? How strong are those dreams? What do you ultimately want? Okay. Some people want a business. Some people want to go further in their education. What is it you want? And that's what you do is you list those two goals, not how to get there, but list those two goals. Okay. And you're going to remember those or hold on to them because you need them for week 3 when we do part 2. All right. Once you have those, you're going to click Start Assignment, Text Entry, type your response here, and then say Submit. All right. And that's how you put that in, and that's for Wednesday. Now, tomorrow, we're going to talk about this informational interview, and you could work ahead. I want you to think about this because you may want to go ahead and start thinking about it ahead of time. So, an informational interview is where you have an interview with someone in your career field. You're going to talk to someone in your career field, okay? And what this person has to be is somebody that is working or has worked in your career. Now, you may not know somebody already out there, but you have your instructors. So one of your instructors will work fine, or somebody at the school who has been in that field. It can be anybody that you know in that field. And what you need for tomorrow is just the name, okay? So the name and the position that they are in. Okay, I'm not going to call them. I'm not going to harass them and say, hey, you're going to be interviewed by blah, blah, blah. Okay, they just have to be in a position that's relatable to your field that you're going into. And then next week, by next Wednesday, you're going to talk to them and ask them questions. You're going to have an interview with them. Now, some of the questions you can ask, please don't think you have to ask all of these questions because people will say, I don't know what to ask. So here's some questions you can ask them. We'll see if it opens up here. It's taking its time. Maybe. Maybe not. I have a lot of stuff running here during this demo, so it might not open. Okay, so it's not going to open. Let me try it one more time. No, it's not going to open during the demo, but there's a list of questions you can ask them. You can ask your own questions. You don't have to use those questions. They're just samples. But next week is when you will do the actual interview and supply that answer. This week, you're just going to give the name and the position. Okay. So this week on Thursday, just the name of the position. Okay. The other thing is this resume session. You're going to schedule that. Now, each campus does it differently. So find your campus and see how to schedule that. Now, I'm letting you know ahead of time because every class will be scheduling. And the earlier you schedule, the more options you have for time. Again, if you cannot go to the campus, talk to career services and see what options they have for you. This scheduling is between you and career services. Once you have that schedule, click start assignment, come into text entry and put that in there. Okay? So that gives you a heads up for tomorrow as well, because some people like to get ahead of things. And the reason being is our Thursday is like Friday. And then last but not least, there's bonus points. And I urge you to do this. Click here. Why did you choose the career you did? Click Start Assignment, Text Entry. Tell me why you chose your career field. That'll get you 5 points on the midterm next week. Okay? that is not eligible for an extension. So please get that in. That 5 point is added just on whatever score you get. All right. Everybody good so far? Yes, yes. All right. Okay. So let's get to getting over here. We're going to do our little slideshow here. Let me get my little pen going. Make sure it's working. There's my little smiley face. And away we go. Okay, so we're going to talk about the concept of career prep and the purpose of a plan and the importance of a self-assessment during the career planning step. We're going to talk about personal skills and the purpose of setting SMART goals and career pathing and define a portfolio. Okay, so career preparation's a journey. Everybody's different. So there's not one size that fits all. And that being said, there's similarities. And one of the big things is a job's short term. Okay. That's what we all have before we start a career. You have jobs. Okay. You go in, you do the job, you get paid. But a career is a little bit different. So a career, you start on a path. You start here and then you go up, 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 up. Hopefully, you have a path. You work your way, you get recognized, and you move up. Okay. So now there's established versus emerging occupations. Now, emerging occupations, people automatically think, oh, it's technology, but it's not. Okay. And a career requires more education. Okay. Everybody here, you're doing technical skills. You don't just get born with these. You don't just happen to be a welder, an electrician, an HVAC tech, an MA. You have to have education. And you need to remember that you have things that people don't. Okay. Now, career pathways. So these are defined as broad categories that are on specific skills. And there's 16 of them. Okay. Believe it or not, we break all the jobs down into 16 categories. And out of those, emergent occupations, those have developed or changed because of advancements. These are not just technological ones. Okay. Now, out of that, we're going to talk about very specific industries that are referenced in each one's coming up here. And a career pathway should be chosen best for your aptitudes, your skills, and abilities. So I hope you chose one that suits you. If you're a welder, I hope you chose it because that's what you want to do. If you're an MA, I hope you chose that because that's what you want to do. Don't choose one because it'll make you money. Money will not make you happy. And if you're not happy, that career is going to be torture for you. Okay? So let's take a look here. I thought I had the pathways. So I don't have them. I thought I had the pathways on the next slide, but I don't. Now, occupational informational network. Write this down if you don't have this. This is in your book, www.owtonline.org. Okay, this is a very, very important website. Okay, so I want you to take a look at that. Provides the descriptions of in-demand industry areas in emerging occupations. Okay. And this other one, this Department of Labor, why that's important? Because it offers job information and the hourly standards for your wage information and safety information. So that's how you know what your job should be paying. Does anybody know what your job should be paying when you get out of school? Does anybody? Have you looked at that? Do you know what your wages should be? Awesome, Johnny does. Okay. All right, Shane. You need to know because if you're applying for jobs and they're telling you this is what we're going to pay, how do you know you're not being ripped off? So know that. Okay. So we're talking about phase one of that project for a career plan. And this is where a person is today in the job search process and where they'd like to be over the course of a career. Okay. And the items, ding, 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 right here, midterm exam question. The items in a career plan are called action items. Okay. Right there, career plan are called action items because they call you to action. You need to do something. But before you create one, you should conduct a self assessment and a skills assessment and set SMART goals. Okay. So, what would you do on a self assessment? You need to find out about yourself. Okay. And so, you need to find out about your aptitudes, your abilities, your personality, and your values. All of these things make it important. So we hear about aptitude, not attitude. That's a whole different thing. And aptitude, these are your natural abilities. We all have things that we're better at naturally. Okay. Now, cognitive, that's mental. Now, how I remember that is cognitive. Think of those gears inside your head turning, and that's a cog. So that's how I remember that. Okay. Now, an assessment can help identify your aptitudes and natural interests. And sometimes when you go to apply, they will give you an informal aptitude test or a formal one. They may have you do like a math test or a problem solving test. And this is quite common when you go to apply uh, because it's very important. And people may not think about. But if you're working in welding, you may have to add multiple links together. So you're going to have to do addition. You may have to do different angles. So you're going to have to do that. If you're in electrical, you may have to add different voltages. If you're an MA, you may have to deal with multiple dosages, etc. So you may have to do these type of tests. Now, an ability is a mastery of a skill or capacity, and aptitudes and skills are supported or limited by your ability. Okay, so you could have a natural aptitude or you could have a skill, but your ability limits it. So you could have a natural aptitude with something, but your ability limits you. Okay. So we can all be great at something naturally, but our ability limits us. Okay. Now, aptitudes, skills, and abilities will all be on the midterm. Okay. Aptitudes are natural, skills are learned over time. Okay. Skills learned over time. Anyone can learn a skill. They're all learned. Skills are learned. Aptitudes are natural. Both are controlled by ability. Now, personality. This gets us in trouble. Our personality is our qualities that predict our attitudes, our values, and our work habits. Okay, so our personalities can predict if we're going to be late, if we're lazy, if we're this, if we're that, if we're cranky, not cranky. It also, though, tells us, are we going to be loyal, if we're motivated? So that personality test that I'm having you do today falls under this Myers-Briggs test right here. So that's another reason why they have you do it, to find out how dependable you might be, how loyal and how motivated you might be. And it can make a difference if they hire you or not. Now, here's something else that falls into trouble territory, our values. These are the principles and beliefs that we consider important. However, a business value might be different. So you need to know what the values of a business are before you apply, because they could contradict your values. And if you have a contradiction of values, it may not be the proper place to work. So you look at a company and do that research before you apply. Check out the business values. Make sure they are in line with yours, because if they're not, you could have a problem working for them. Trust me, they have to be in alignment. Now, how many people have heard of soft skills and hard skills? Anybody hear of both of those? Okay, Errol has heard of them. So you have two types of skills. In your labs and in your shops, you have been learning hard skills, and you need to be able to describe those. Your hard skill is the task you do to complete the job, physically related to your actual job. Soft skills are where companies are saying that we're lacking. These are our people skills, our writing skills, our communication skills, our listening skills. That's where we need the biggest improvement. Okay. So here's an example of skills, and these are going to be on midterm. Okay. So soft skills are our active listening, communication, our flexibility, our initiative, our integrity, our motivation, our patience, problem solving, self-confidence, teamwork. Okay. Your hard skills, your accounting, carpentry, computer programming, data analysis, graphic design, machine operation, marketing, nursing, project managing, welding, writing, all the things that you would do for the physical aspect of the job. We need both of those on your resume. If you don't have both types on your resume, you could miss out as well. Okay. Now, this is a question that gets missed all the time. Technology skills are important. You need to be able to do basic skills on a computer, and a technology skills assessment is how they determine that. So a technology skills assessment, this question will come up on the midterm. All that means is if they do a technology skills assessment, they just want to know what technology you know. Okay. If you come back with the answer, it is a test to determine what technology is used in a company, blah, blah, blah. I know you Googled the answer. Okay. On these tests, we've done them so much, we know all the wrong answers that have been Googled. Okay. Simple. They just want to know what computers, etc., that you know how to use. That's what a technology skills assessment is. Tell me, what do you know how to use? Okay. So we know what goals are, but now we're throwing SMART goals at you. And a SMART goal, the only thing that's different between it and a regular goal is you need to be specific. It needs to be measurable. Okay, by measurable, make sure that you have a way to show quantity, quality, how can you determine that this is completable? Make sure it can be done. Okay. People will put goals out there. They just can't be done. So it's got to be attainable. It's got to be realistic. And it's got to be able to have a time frame. When are you going to complete this? So this is what we're doing with your career plan. You are going to do a long-term goal and a long-term goal this week. Then we're going to come back and we're going to fill it in with these, but not yet. Start off with the long-term goals. You create it backwards, okay? You create your long-term goals and then you figure out what's it going to take to fill in the empty spaces. All right? So this week we're doing this, the long-term goals. And then we'll come back and rethink it and figure out how do we get there from here. Now, there's two ways to go up your ladder on your job, career ladder and career lattice. And we all seen the career ladder. Boom, you go up, 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 up. You start off as entry, then you go up to career level, then a specialist, supervisory, and executive, the big honcho. But there's a better one, and a lot of companies do this. This is called the lattice. And the reason why it's called that, if you've ever seen around a deck or something, you've got that white lattice work. It allows you to go left and right and up, and left and right and up, or you can keep going left and right and then up. What it does is it keeps you from hitting that spot where they go, oh, you're at your maximum amount of salary. Has anybody ever had that happen to you? We can't pay you anymore. You're at the maximum. I've had that happen. You can't go up from here. You're at the top of your ladder. Yeah, that's a polite way of saying we're never paying you anymore, but we're going to give you more work. I told you I worked at a Denny's. I told you I worked at a Walmart. I've worked numerous other jobs. Yeah, you can't go up any further. But a lattice allows you to move left and right and up. Now, what that does mean is you can go to another department at the same pay, and then you can go up from there. That keeps you from being boxed in. Okay, so it gives you more opportunities for advancement, higher wages, plus it gives you the ability to go to another field and advance. Now, you can carry your portfolio around as a hard copy or a digital copy. That's your resume, your references, everything. I recommend you have a paper copy when you go in for your interview so you can physically hand everything, but you have everything digital too so that you can say, if you'd like, I can email you a copy as well. No harm in having those both. And when you go in for an interview, have multiple copies because you could be with three, maybe four people doing the interview. It could be a group interview, and this way everybody's got a copy. Don't leave anybody out. Okay. Now, your career persona, that's going to be everything about you. Okay. It's your characteristics as a professional. Everybody is a professional, and no two people are alike. And it's going to be influenced by your skills, your knowledge, your characteristics, and it's going to be identified by you. I want you to realize that. Now, today, I want you to think about your three hard skills. These are the things that are physically demanding and unique to your field, okay? And your three soft skills. These are things like your ability to manage people, your communication, your writing, etc. Those are your soft skills, okay? Don't just list ones that are available for your career, but these need to be the ones you have, okay? So think about your three hard skills and your 3 soft skills that you would put on your resume. That is what you're going to do for your attendance assignment. Okay? Any questions about that or anything we've gone over today? Everybody good? All right, we're all right. Okay, then I will see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and that will be our last class for this week, and we will have week 1 done. All right. Y'all are doing awesome. Get those assignments in. What I will do is on tomorrow, I will start going back and the assignments from Tuesday, I will start putting in zeros for anything not complete. So you'll have a realistic grade point going forward. All right. All right. We will see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Y'all have a great evening.